What is up? Welcome back. Let's make sure we're live and working. It sure looks like it. Welcome back, folks. Chell, say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hello. Yeah, she's sucked into the screen right now. You know how it goes. Well, anyways, we're back at it here with more HomePods than you could ever hope to fix. It's just me and the kid here. Wifey's at work, so it'll be pretty slow working through things. And on top of that, we have to catch up on a few that we have been putting off here, in particular because of a specific part that I really need for a couple of those repairs that have been pretty hard to get our hands on in good working condition. Plenty of them out there in the same shape that they get sent in and fixed up for here, but not so many with the one part that we need. That would be this main logic board right here. So I've got a couple of pods that just showed up today that we are going to immediately unbox and take apart and use to fix up a couple of outstanding repairs. We're gonna get kind of desperate here and attempt the actual hard repairs for the rest of them, because, like I was saying, they've been waiting for so long and it's been so difficult to get our hands on the parts we need. We're gonna have to try to fix them. Shuffle hands. What is up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's get some names up on the screen here. And the first one I think we're going to do is Holland again, since they have the lowest number. They've probably been waiting the longest. So we've got Holland with their bricked HomePod, and then who are we gonna do? We've got number 3829 in the same boat. And then we've got Juan in the same boat. And 3914 felt like joining the party. If we can get through all of that. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is potentially going to take a lot longer to get through what some of these need. If we can get through all of that in a reasonable time, then we'll go ahead and take a break with some maintenance for number 3836, was that? Yes. 3836 did succeed with the software restore. And what else? If all of that doesn't take as long as I'm worried about here, then we've got a couple of HomePods to color tonight as well. Where's Stefan? Stefan's in another country. He said something about not gonna be able to be super in on the streams for the next like 30-ish days. Look at that kid. Chop. Ignored.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app associated with this HomePod.
Right. Okay, so this one, they sent it in to us, and let me actually go ahead and message them as well so they can watch us get it fixed. We've got Holland here, 3796. And let's get a link for them. Alright, let's see. Holland we messaged. 3829. Yeah, Stefan's gonna be missing out on a lot. Oh, let me find a pacifier for this child. Here we go. This kid's probably gonna fall asleep. That is all right though. Makes our lives easier for the queue. Alright, so we've messaged enough folks. So, why are we doing all this, gonna be doing all this work to number 3796 Holland's HomePod here if it's working?
There's a problem with the Wi-Fi. For more info, check the home app.
Well, so, actually let's go ahead and try to factory reset it and see if it misbehaves for us trying to do that. But quite often we'll have people reach out to us with a HomePod that's got the blinkies, the blinking volume buttons. They can't reset it, it won't set up, it won't do nothing other than blink the volume buttons. But when they send it in to us and we get it and we power it up, you and I see it before our very cameras that it boots right up.
Your HomePod is about to reset. Keep pressing until you hear 3 beeps.
Seems to reset. We'll see here. Yep. And for all intents and purposes, it works. It works all fine and dandy here and now. Now, one of two possibilities. They sent us the wrong HomePod. Very unlikely. They swear left and right, and it pretty much has never happened. It can happen, I suppose. But what usually happens with ones like this is an intermittent failure with one of the components on that fancy schmancy logic board. Usually it's the CPU or the NAND, the storage chip, that causes this intermittent failure, specifically the solder that connects those chips to the board. Through the many cycles of heating up and cooling down in combination with all of the vibrations from the subwoofer right below it, contribute to the solder or the BGA cracking and corroding and making a better or worse connection depending on how it feels, basically. In other words, it can cause intermittent failures like this where it didn't work for them, we get it, and it works just fine for us. So we'll see if it resets. I'm expecting it to not put up a fuss here. I imagine it would probably, and even here, maybe we live in a cooler climate than Holland, so we may never see it misbehave unless we stick it in an oven. But it has, let me grab my other phone. I forgot I left it right here this whole time. Does it still have battery? Oh, buddy. And we still get the setup prompt. So, here's the deal. We are going to replace this logic board because I can't immediately reproduce the issue, so I don't even have a great guess, an educated guess as to what we should even attempt to repair, right? Should we redo the solder for the storage chip, or do we need to redo the solder for the main CPU? We don't know until we can get it to misbehave and then attempt to restore and see what error it throws, pointing us to what hardware is misbehaving. What we're gonna do is pop in another logic board since we've got them and we aren't sure what, we do have a few other bricks that we do know what are wrong with them that we are going to try hardware repairs on, but this one we are going to outright swap that logic board, and then we'll put it in the future, we'll burn it in and see how it fails and what's causing it. Let's get ourselves a logic board. This HomePod works just fine. At least it should. I have a note here saying that it has nothing wrong with it other than some death farts. So it should be chock full of great parts. I suppose we can plug it in really quick here and sanity check. There it is. So of course, I believe I had it set up on my test home, so we will want to...
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Yeah, shush. We will want to reset this, and of course make sure it's all up to date before we ship this back to them. I've already been in here. Either I've already been in here, and I don't remember it, or someone else was in here and I bought someone else's work. That sounds, I just saw that, shuffle hands. That sounds like a mess at school. Sorry to hear about that. But at least it's not one of the most severe problems in life to be dealing with. Alright. We've got ourselves one good logic board. Let's get this apart. Do a little bit of maintenance while we've got it. Make sure it doesn't have a reason we can prevent to come back to us, like no power or death farts like that other HomePod we picked this logic board from. I will say it does feel good to finally be getting some of these stragglers fixed up and out of here. We've been sitting on them for way too long, and they're just been... I have legitimately not come across more than maybe one or two more parts pods in the past few weeks. Today I got really lucky. 3 showed up. Well, 2 showed up, and I found a third one cleaning. I know, absolutely wild problem to have. I lost a HomePod and I found it cleaning months later. I can't even remember when I got that HomePod and when I took it apart and what have you. Things have just been that chaotic, that busy. Does anybody else notice that the mobile YouTube app, like, has an emoji that just covers up a quarter of the chat? So I can't read I can't read like the last 2 or 3 words at the end of each line of your chat message. That's ideal. Great design, YouTube. Here I thought I was being smart, sticking an iPad in front of me with YouTube up so I could have the chat in direct line of sight so I could try to ignore you guys less. And YouTube's gimping me with the poor UI. What the heck? I am just gonna have to stick another monitor right in front of me just for the chat so I can see what y'all are saying. Oh, you see it too. It's not just me. Awesome. I'm not sure what's wrong with this one, but I'm gonna take a guess it's the NAND and see if I can't get it to misbehave for us later. Let me grab my duster. It's okay. It's just an air duster. It won't do nothing. If you put it in full screen and have the chat on the side, it gets rid of it. Okay, let me try that. Because this is annoying enough. Okay, so when I full screen, the chat just disappears. Yeah, I guess I can't full screen. The full screen UI is broken on iPad. hit the little counter in the bottom corner of the full screen. So when I go full screen, so here's the little heart that I'm talking about. If I go full screen, the chat disappears. You've got this little live chat thing down here, but if I tap that, it just blows me back out of full screen. If I go back into full screen, there's a live chat button up here, but that doesn't do anything. There's it's broken, I think. Oh, if I rotate it, if I do if I do portrait instead of landscape, but the thing is I'm using a Magic Keyboard. It doesn't have portrait. Ah! Yeah, talk about it, man. Alright, as I was saying, we're not just replacing the logic board, we're taking it all the way, we're making it worth their money. We are going to dig down to the amplifier and replace a couple of parts on there that usually go bad and cause this issue. What are you doing, goofball? What are you laughing about? I'll give you a reason. No concerns with the subwoofer. Oh no, why'd it pause? Can you say, oh no? Oh, well now my iPad decided to turn the screen off. Come back. Yep, I do know that there is a new beta update available. I am never updating. How fast do modern MacBooks boot? Your 2010 boots in a minute and a half? Jeez. Hard to say for certain. I rarely restart the thing. And the battery life is, gosh, just so gosh darn good. I was joking with my wife yesterday. I was like, ugh, I have to get my charger for the second time this week. I've only been watching 2 videos in the background with 3 remote desktop sessions, 2 different browser sessions, each with about a dozen tabs. Are you telling me I have to charge this thing at least twice in a week? Oh, I will. It was way better, way better than what I had before, which was it was a 2015 MacBook Pro. But I swear every time I went to go use that thing, the battery was dead. Like, it would charge and hold the charge just fine. And like, I'd get at least a full day out of it. But for somehow, if I close it and I put it away with a full battery, whenever I need it and I go to use it, it's dead. It's got just enough to tell me that it's gonna die and I need to plug it in. The battery was probably shot in the thing, but there was so much more. There's so much more that I need to do to that machine to make it worth putting any money into, to make as like a portable machine again. Like, at this point, I use it when I need a 2015 MacBook, and I don't generally need a 2015 MacBook anywhere other than home for a very specific task, and I don't mind having it plugged into the wall in that case. But anyways, back to your original question, how fast does my modern MacBook boot? I mean, I'd say it depends. I'd say between like 15 to 45 seconds. I know that's a wide range, but that's just going off of kind of fuzzy memory. Obviously, I can't check for you right now. We'd lose our stream here. The only time I'm usually restarting it too is for updates. So I don't think I have a good accurate gauge on how long it takes for just a plain old restart. Uh, 2015 MacBook, I don't think had any USB-C ports. And actually, I am misremembering. I had a 2015 MacBook Pro, but work gave me a 2022. It was a 2021 or 2022. It was a 15-inch Touch Bar MacBook. Awful device. That was the one with the awful battery life. The 2015 MacBook Pro had a better battery life than my Touch Bar MacBook did. That was the one that sucked. And that's what boggled my mind too, was it was such a new machine when I had it. Like, there was no reason for the battery to be that bad. It's all coming back to me now. I take it back, 2015 MacBook Pro. You were a solid champ. You still work just fine. Ish. The reason why I have the 2015 MacBook Pro is work gave that one to me for free. They were gonna throw it away because it had an issue with the left speaker constantly making a crackling sound as soon as you turn the thing on. Even if you plugged headphones in, it kept crackling. And I was like, oh, I'll take it. And I just unplugged the left speaker. That's it. Never found, it's probably some water damage somewhere that I couldn't find, but I couldn't find anything. So I just rocked it with one less speaker, no big deal. Not a deal breaker. So we're replacing, first up here, the DC filters. These are what go bad in essentially every HomePod. If it won't be due to age, since they naturally decay and go bad and will need to be replaced, or they will roast your subwoofer and make it unusable. Or due to perhaps a quality control issue causing so many of them to fail so early on that there's no question about it You know, it was not an age issue for many of the early failures. So there's just so many reasons to replace these little guys. I don't want to have to take this HomePod back, especially after having it for so long up to this point. We've got a 52K dated Schottky diode though. That is not within the batch. That fails and causes no power. So we don't have to worry about that, and I can guarantee it. Let's get this back together. Yellow sub, what is up? Welcome back. Far from a new repair here, I'd say rather. These guys have been patiently waiting quite some time for us to finally get them all sorted out. We've just been waiting on main logic boards since some of their issues can't be fixed. We just have to replace the whole logic board outright. It is what it is. They serialize those some of those parts on the board. Thankfully, at least, you can take any part as a whole. You can take the amp, the power supply, the logic board, the display, the subwoofer, any of that stuff you can swap as a whole, and they'll talk to each other no problem. But once you start mixing chips around on this board in particular, they don't like it. In particular, the CPU, the RAM, the storage, and the wireless modules are all serialized, and you can't just swap them. I mean, you could, but there aren't currently tools available to reprogram the components with the original serials. And as you might have figured out as I said that, if the original component is so dead that you can't get the original serial, then you have no chance, even with a new part, of making it all work. I have also, unfortunately, I have conceded to the inflation and well, normal repairs, the day in and day out repairs like no power and death farts, stuff that we can fix with just a couple of dollars worth of components and some soldering, that won't change in repair price. But ones like this one where they need a whole new logic board, or other repairs where they need a whole replacement subwoofer, things that we have to replace as a whole that we can't repair, we did jack up our prices a little bit there. But everybody that's submitted a repair request up to this point, so of course you guys are getting what you signed up for. The times are tough, but I mean, on the flip side, it's still less than what I used to charge for a lot of the repairs 3 or 4 years ago. So, and you still get shipping included. It's I hope no one complains. Yeah, who am I kidding? Will anybody even notice? If you think the speakers on your 2010 MacBook Pro sound bad, have you listened to laptop speakers of the same the same era. I remember when I was in high school and the 2008 to 2010 MacBooks had some fantastic sounding speakers for the time, for what you typically got in a laptop. It was pretty good. Compared to anything today, I mean, I'd have to do a side-by-side, but maybe one could argue that a modern iPhone speaker sounds better than 2010 MacBook Pro speakers, but I don't know. That'd be a fun, interesting comparison. If no one's done that, maybe we should, We could just do all sorts of wacky comparisons, too. Hey, Chap. Chap, what are you doing? What is the... It's the 28th? Very cool. Is that funny? You having a good time, Chell? I've ever done a colored keyboard backlight mod? Yes, that was the first mod I did to my MacBook in high school. was make the keyboard backlit red. And then I installed some piece of software that made the backlight pulse to your music. The one thing you want to keep in mind, especially with red, and I had the same problem coloring the dashboard of my Z of my car. One layer of red gel, like stage film, is not enough and it's going to look pink. You need at least 2, maybe 3. But it's best if you can to mock it up and turn it on and see how it looks before putting it all the way back together and being disappointed that you ended up with pink like what I ended up with when I tried it my first time. Alright, finally fixed up. We will reset it and make sure
I'm having trouble connecting to
it passes all of our testing before we pass it back to them. Let's get another one in here. 3829. This one threw quite the unfun error. It was a very unhelpful error. I really do not know what goes wrong with these logic boards when the particular error we saw with this one happens. Let's get their name up there. 3829. Up next is Juan. We'll message them. Public safety alert. Okay. This thing wants to play games with me and wiggle. There we go. Okay. This one is definitely going to need a new logic board as well, because like I was saying, the particular error this one was throwing when we tried to restore the software was not something that we even know what's causing it other than something on the logic board. So let's get this one knocked out. An addressable RGB mod for it. Ooh. Yeah, it is a really tight spot in there. You would have to basically make a replacement custom backlight that replaces the original. But I mean, it'd be totally doable if Apple could do it years and years and years ago. Y'all couldn't do it with RGBs now. Do I give each repair a number? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The number they get is more or less the number of people that have gotten a repair with us. Give or take a few hundred. There's some folks that we end up doing entirely through email or text or whatever, and they end up not putting in a repair request, or they don't want it tracked in any way. There's all the ones that we refurbish and resell. We don't count any of those. Would love to know your repair number when it's your turn. If you're comfortable telling me your first name here, you can tell me and I'll let you know. If you put down for an anonymous repair, then I'll let you know what number yours is right before it comes up. But if you told me before, I am totally spacing out. I cannot recall which HomePod yours is in particular, or who you were here on behalf for. Okay, before we take this one any further, we need to grab a parts pod. Oh, I really wish I wouldn't have to. But it must be done. It must be done. What else am I going to do with all of these parts pods? Put them together and use them for myself? I probably have more HomePods than most of these people, so I'd feel bad. I'd feel forever guilty turning down a repair for someone because they need a logic board when I've got so many. And now I'm in this situation where I don't have any. And everybody, oh no, that's not a good sign. That's all cracked up right there. What we got going on with this one? It is a no power pod, and we are drawing no power from the wall as well. I don't like the looks of that. Where did this come from? Who did I buy this from? Did I buy this in this condition? I'm gonna be upset if it was not supposed to be this beat up. See, delivered this one. Yeah, it was this one. Oh yeah, no, the original listing has the exact same condition. So I'm just I just suck like that. Okay. Alright, well that's not good for nothing. No one's gonna want to pay for a display that's all cracked up like that. I still keep all of the stuff like that. You never know, someone might be looking for something just like that, and I wouldn't mind throwing it in some order for free. So with such a low power draw, that usually means it's a logic board issue, of course. But it's one that we can fix. Alright, let's make sure this thing actually works before we upset ourselves. Hey, okay, I'll give that a sec to actually fully boot up. I want to make sure there wasn't any physical damage that prevents it from booting up here. Oh, Ton, yes. Let me see here what you've got. It was under your wife's name, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, let me get you. I don't know where the remote went. Oh, I found it. Okay. You should be... number 3966. That would be you. You have put your first name down, so we'll have your actual name up. I don't believe we'll be able to get to yours today.
I'm having trouble.
I think the rest of these are gonna take a little too long, but we're gonna see how much we can get through. If it won't be today, it'll be tomorrow for sure. I've got yours and a handful of other people's that showed up, I think, Friday last week. And I took the weekend off. Fire me. I took the weekend off. I didn't do nothing this weekend. Actually, we did I cleaned the whole house this weekend. I did that on Saturday, and then Sunday I didn't do nothing. So, but we will be getting to yours and a few others that showed up on Friday by no later than tomorrow. I just don't know if we'll be able to get to them today. Oh boy, were we backed up. But I guess it's a good problem to have. Business is booming. Batter, what is up? Steph's in Paris. He's in France. Not just Paris. He's in France. He's going around France for the next month. And I guess they don't have great internet where he's got his arrangements, so. And they're also scary strict on like their sleep schedule, I guess. Like they've got like security and stuff that like walk around, and like you get in trouble if you're freaking watching something. I don't know. I wasn't very closely following when Stefan was explaining. There was a lot going on. There were HomePods flying all over the place. The kid was bouncing off the walls. The wife was bouncing off the walls. The cat was bouncing off the walls. And throwing up hairballs. Stefan going, blah, 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 Bible Camp's gonna kick me out if they catch me on my phone again. Shuffle Hands is like my Goodwill Apple TV. And then you have Nixon. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Oh, I forgot the Nick's ignoring us again. I forgot that one. Oh yeah, he really went. That was a real thing. He should have, if I'm not mistaken, he should be doing the Devi LA experience thing. He should have already done that today. Earthquake. What about an earthquake? We don't have earthquakes here. Nothing that you're really gonna feel. Okay, what's on the table? We have got a 46K dated Schottky diode. Those love to cause no power. We'll get that swapped out after the filters that cause death farts. Here we go. How you doing, kid? You doing all right? Wait, they were closed for Tour de France? No. Oh man. I don't know about you, but for me, if it was me in Stefan's 16-year-old shoes, the whole point of that trip was to go to the Devi LA experience. Bullocks. Bullocks. And nobody knew that that's like that. Did they not know? I'm not talking about Stefan's parents, but like Devialet. Did they like space out and like let everyone buy tickets for the day? And then have to refund everyone? Which I mean, ooh, big deal to Devialet. They can probably afford it. Without breaking a sweat. But gosh darn. Like people plan trips for that. He spent his refund at the Apple store. That's great. But not surprising. If you surround the keyboard with an RGB strip, it probably... I can't remember. I think that'll only backlight the edges of it. I don't think... I think they put a full array of white LEDs to backlight the keyboard. Like, it wasn't behind... Oh, was it behind every single key even? They had an LED or two? You'd have to have some... I mean, you could easily diffuse it. You could do a top. You could do an edgelit if you diffuse it right. 6 LEDs in the center and a diffuser. Stefan, what is up? We were just talking about you. Really? You're on your way home? I thought you were going to be there for longer. Mini. This kid's getting loopy. She's getting loopy. She's getting tired. She needs to go to sleep. Really? Uh-huh. Are you being goofy? Chat. Chat. Child, listen to me. Respond. Yes, father, no father. Screw you, father. Something. Say something. Not a word. What are you watching? Some, like, Debillions knockoff? The world of kids' YouTube content is very strange, folks. They got some bangers. They got some not so bangers. You get a Crunch Labs box, Stefan? You gonna engineer something? You gonna stem it up? Alright, we're an hour and 12 minutes in and only 2 pods fixed. Ouchie. But we're taking it slow. I can't care anymore. I cared too hard. I broke my care. At this point, it's just get them fixed. I feel like a doctor in America. The patients are turning less into people and more into numbers. And I hate it. Like I used to enjoy every single repair and every single interaction with people, and being able to turn these around in almost every case the same day, or at worst fix it the same day and then turn it around and ship it out the next day. This is rough for someone that takes pride in turning them around so fast. And all right, but we're getting through it. We got it figured out. All right, who's next? It's gonna be Juan. Why didn't anyone tell me I was way zoomed in that whole time? That whole time. All the way to work! Alright, it's about to get a lot tougher here. We've got Juan's pod. We're gonna let 3914 know that they're coming up next. Okay. Good night, Stefan. Thanks for dropping by. Alright, so we've got confirmed blinkies on Juan's HomePod here. So, here's the deal. We've got this one and 3914 that both need logic boards. I only have one logic board left. At the very least, the last 2 pods here that have been waiting for logic boards both have an issue that we can potentially fix. There is a chance that we can fix this. We're gonna give it a shot on this one here first, because it would be really nice if we could fix both of these and then have that logic board, that whole set of parts to keep for one in the near future, inevitably, probably even tomorrow. That'll need one we can't fix this logic board on. So we're gonna give it a go here. We're going to try to reball the NAND on this logic board and see if we can't get it working again without extra parts. Hopefully we can fix this, and hopefully this isn't going to be a demonstration of why I hate doing these repairs and why they tend to be, well, why I tend to just replace this logic board and not even bother trying this, what you're about to see here. Alright, we need access to that storage chip. There it is. Of course it's a Toshiba. I don't know how many of them out there use the Hynix versus Toshiba chips, but it does feel like every time I crack open one of these bricked logic boards, it's got Toshiba's name on it. I guess that said, I've had ones with the Hynix chips on it too. There's not. It's a BGA issue. The chip manufacturer has not had any bearing. All right, we've got this secured. Let's see how far I can zoom you guys in. Not bad. Not great. Here we go. I'm gonna take my nozzle off here if I can. I think it might be too late. That's okay. I'm gonna turn my heat down to 380. I don't want to kill the chip with heat. And we're just gonna go to town. about 40 to 60 seconds of heat, and then we should be able to start peeling it up. We got it. We've got it off, and I can see the smoking gun. We do have, it looks like two pads on there that have gone cold and corroded, that we're no longer making any kind of connection. Here's what's next. In order for the chip to fit in our stencil here, we need to cut off some of that extra silicone infill that's around the edges of it here. And I like to do it while the chip is still hot. The stuff comes off real easy. Okay, that should fit into here, nice and flush. Gonna get some flux on the board. Flux down on the board, and before we flux up the chip, I'm going to take some fine tweezers here, and we are going to scratch up the pads that are giving us signs of corrosion. This will just make sure that solder sticks to these pads again. Okay. We got the pads scratched up. Let's get some flux on there. And now we're gonna grab some low melt solder, and we're gonna clean up all of the original junk with some low melt solder. And I'm not like pushing really hard on the board and scraping the board with my iron. I'm trying as best as I can to kind of have a big blob of solder on my iron, and I'm dragging the blob of molten solder across the pads and not the tip of my iron itself. Otherwise, that's how you can easily scratch up the board and expose traces and damage pads and cause all sorts of issues. Same deal with the NAND chip itself. We're just dragging that blob of solder over all of our pads, making sure everything gets nice and shiny, shows that it's taken fresh solder. And then we're going to suck it all up. We'll grab some of our solder wick. I'm feeling lazy, and I'm not going to cut them off into little strips. It'll be fine. The iron pumps enough heat into this. And again, we're not putting a bunch of force. We're just lightly, very lightly dragging the copper braid across the board. Alright, same thing to the NAND chip down here. Let's get that cleaned up. All right. Let's clean up all of our flux. You want ice cream? You've been a very good kid. I can get you some ice cream. You've been a very good kid. Yeah, it's time for some ice cream. Let's take a break. Let's take a break and eat some ice cream. You want some ice cream? Ooh, that's good. That's cotton candy. That's real good. There you go. I'll get you a plate too, because I know you like to eat it off of the plate. There you go. Now I have to have ice cream too. Airdrop you some ice cream? I got you. I feel like the ice cream that they use in these cones, for the Oreo cones, is way better than the ice cream that they use for their Oreo ice cream sandwiches. That stuff tasted weird. This is alright. Welcome to Nick's Food Review. It's alright. That's some gosh darn ice cream, I'll say that. Where is... Oh no. Here it is. Okay, this is like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I've been holding out on these because, frankly, I got sick of the Oreo ice cream sandwiches. I thought it was going to be the same ice cream, different form factor, but I was wrong. It is different ice cream, and it is better. The Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches are the best, dude, yes. The ice cream they use in those is phenomenal. Up there next to the Nestle Toll House ice cream sandwiches. Different than the Nestle Toll House mini ice cream sandwiches. Those things taste like they froze marshmallow filling and stuffed that in there instead. But those Fat Boy ice creams, man, there was a time in my life where I was buying and eating so many of those things, I got sick of them and ended up not touching them for like a year or two. Alright, this is leaded solder, so I'm going to wait until I'm done with my ice cream before we mess with this any further. Oh man. I'm going to buy more of these. And nothing hits like a cold cup of water after some ice cream. I tell you that. Dada! Dada! Hi, baby chill. Are you enjoying your ice cream? I'm enjoying mine. It's pretty good. Alright. Am I making you nervous? Hooey! Yeah, let's go. Okay. Let me put this away in a place that's a little safer. Alright. So, we've got our stencil cleaned off. We just pop that down in our magnetic base, leaving exposed only the pads right above our chip. I'm going to grab my old Apple card and a little bit of paste. Make sure it's kind of relatively evenly spread out here before we smear it across our chip. And of course I did it backwards. There we go. Alright. And we just do a 1-2 smear-a-roo. I like to do a double take. I like to do a triple take. And it looks like crap. Let's try that again. That's a lot better. Alright, we can lift our template off, revealing our chip with blobs of solder conveniently placed right over all of the pads. You got your Offspring shirt from the Offspring concert, even though the power went out and it was canceled. Very nice. Also, welcome back. Welcome back. Alright, I'm going to clean up the pads on the board one more time real quick. Because it looks like there's still a little schmoo on there. Nice and clean. Heat up the board again just a little bit. So that way the flux flows real nice on there. Cool. Now that the chip has had plenty of time to cool down, we can clean that off. We don't want to immediately wipe it off with rubbing alcohol. That can shock it. And as the alcohol evaporates and cools the chip, that can make it very unhappy. Hasn't happened to me, but that's what they say. Okay, so we have got a very nice looking VGA on that chip. Very clean, very even. We're gonna take the, where's the dot? There's a dot in the corner of the chip. That's gonna be the top left, oriented on the board as such. And there is no great way to line this back up. It's kind of a bit of experience, and a bit by feel, and a bit by visual reference. But more or less, if things are still warm enough, it should, if you wiggle the chip around while pressing down on it, you should sort of feel it kind of bite onto the pads where it should go. And that feels about as good as I'm gonna get it. So, wish me luck. Alright, now what we do is hit the edges with a little bit of flux. And we go in for the kill shot. This is where we hit it with the real amount of heat. We want to reflow it. We're going to nudge it a few times and make sure that all the balls have connected. And that's that. Wife cam. Wife's at work. No wife cam. All right. I don't want this thing burning my hand when I go to pick it up. Okay, all right. Let's put our stuff away here. as best as I can tell, that is lined up and very much on there. Okay, let's first see if it springs back to life without trying a software restore. If it still won't boot up, then we'll try a restore with our USB adapter. If it still doesn't restore, we can observe what error it throws. It's probably going to be the same error. Frankly, I don't think this is even going to work, but let's see here. How deep is this sea? Good question. That is taking way too long. It's still, see, yeah, this is why I don't like even bothering to try. Because like the same error on a restore could mean the BGA for that chip, or it could mean the chip itself is dead. So there's no great way to tell without tools that don't really exist. At least not for the public's hands. That's gonna blink again. Yeah. All right, that's really lame. But what can you do? What can you do? Where's my freaking restore adapter? I've been busy pretty much every night and every weekend where I've had free time, and I put that in big quotation marks. Free time, I have been trying to reball the NANDs on all of these other logic boards that I've been stashing to the side. I haven't been able to get a single one of these things brought back to life, man. Like, we managed to get 2 in a row on stream that one time. And I have done a few dozen others successfully, and then it's like this streak of nothing but just won't take the software restore, won't take the NAND reball, won't work. But let's see, maybe this one just needs a restore in addition to all the other work it already wanted here. I want to be wrong. Let's see. Power cord. Okay. There is your terminal. Place your bets. What's it gonna give us? Isn't that good? Y'all got me going in the chat. Waiting for NAND. Well, here's what we can do. before we totally tap out on this board, we can try, since we have fresh BGA and flux under there, we can try reflowing it really quick and seeing if that is what it needs for its final little kick. If we didn't already pull the chip off and replace the solder underneath it, then trying to reflow the chip like this wouldn't do anything. If anything, it would cause more issues. Because of that, the chip is glued down to the board, and there is no flux under there. So all you're doing is just heating things up. It's without the flux, the corrosion's just going to stay there, and nothing's going to get fixed. But this time, it must either be those pads that were corroded are still not connecting very well, or we don't have this lined up, or not all of the pads are, we didn't do a good enough job on our reball here. Okay, we'll give that a sec to cool down. Oh, this is not my real wedding band whatsoever. This is something that my wife and I found, I don't know, like a year or two ago at some antique store. I just really liked it, and we snagged it. You cannot have another ice cream. There's no such thing as 2 ice creams in one day. My original wedding band fell apart like literally a few weeks after I got it. In hindsight, a cast resin wedding band probably wasn't the brightest idea, but it looked really cool, man. Of course, my wife's was the exact same, and hers is still in one perfect piece to this day. Mine fell apart within weeks. Crazy. Hey, kid. You want some yogurt? You want some yogurt? Yogurt? There you go. You gotta make sure you keep eating food. Alright, how's this? It's still pretty hot. Yeah, I think I really like it. It's just a simple little piece of metal with some I mean, none of this has got to be real. It's got to be some like resin and like plastic underneath there, right? But it looks pretty cool nonetheless, and it's held up very well. How much I want? I don't know. $20? $20 and she's yours. The watch, not the or the not the watch. What is this? Isn't a watch? Where am I? Where are we? What are we doing? That's a ring. My mind is stuck on the... Ooh, I'll show you what my mind was stuck on thinking about. $10 at Value Village. Look at that beauty. Chell and I stopped by Value Village on the way home from dropping Kira off at work. And, gosh, look at her. She's in great shape, I'll say that. A little dirty from me, breaking it in, but there we go. Look at that. Dang near perfect shape. But, yeah, I had to. I had to. I have another one, but I bought it like 10, 15 years ago and then wore it through basic training and some years of military. So it's aged. No. 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 You don't eat your apples. You waste your apples. Let me try to find something for you, kid. You want some turkey and cheddar crackers? Turkey? Yeah, you want some turkey? I'm gonna eat one though. I gotta make sure it's safe. You never know what they put in these things these days, kid. Here you go, turkey. Waiting for Nand. Yeah, that's it. I'm crashing out. That's lame. Super duper lame. Well, can't say I didn't try. I guess I'm sacrificing. Well, shit. What am I going to do for this next repair? We're going to have to try to fix their logic boards too. And it's going to have to work. And if it doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I already told them I was fixing it next. My HomePods. No. Yeah, get out of here. Wait, what's wrong with this one? No power, no lights, a couple of watts from the wall. So it's got a dead amplifier, but the logic board should still be just fine. Oh, let me get my big fat terminal out of the way here so you guys can friggin' see what we're doing, eh? There you go, sorry about that. Alright, now that we have secured a logic board that isn't absolutely cursed, let's tear this down all the way and knock out that maintenance and get it back together, and then we'll cry about 3914 a little bit. That is weird. There's a funny mark on the voice coil, but they didn't have any complaints about their bass. Kind of looks like a bit of a manufacturing defect that doesn't actually affect anything. Mike! You have a watch that needs a new battery. What kind of watch? I'm interested. Things like the great ancestors before you. Is it the watch that your father's father gave him during the war? First gen 18K gold, oh boy. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look that one up. I feel like the first gen was easier to work on. I might be sorely mistaken. That should be totally doable though. Let me look it up, and I'm sure you'll shoot me a message about it. Tweeted still, yeah. No, I was mad nervous when that ceramic white Apple Watch, when we had that ceramic white Apple Watch in a few months ago. What did it need? It needed a new screen. That's right. I insured that sucker. You bet. Full value. Heck, the insurance for the 18K gold watch is probably going to be more than the repair. I don't know. I have to actually look up how much those things are worth. Ooh, even tougher since the screen is presumably just fine and it needs a new battery. And it's and it's gold, so it's gonna be softer metal. It's plated, of course, but it's still gonna it'll scratch if you breathe on it. But I don't see a reason for it to scratch the housing if we approach with care and use plastic pry tools, of course. heat it up. It should make the screen come right out. And that's the hardest part too, is just getting the screen off. You'd fly it in yourself. Yeah, I bet. Let me see how much these things are. eBay. Apple Watch 18K gold. Oh, it's beautiful. It was a Series 1. I don't think I can find one. Which might not be... that might mean, the gold 2 years ago was valued at $2,400 alone. Did you seriously get your hands on what? How the hell did you? Okay, did you get it from the airport? Did someone lose this thing at the airport? That's gonna be wild. And then they didn't go back for it. So the 24K gold ones are going for like 500 to 800. There's one for $2,000. I can't find any of the 18 karat. Okay, swap it. They're all third-party gold-plated. Oh. Yours is the legit one that sold that like Apple sold for what, like 15 grand or something crazy? Bonkers. Looks nice, but I fancy the ceramic white. That's where I would drop my dough. Oh, forgot a few. Where's Stefan to yell at me about the amplifier screws? You already have every ceramic watch made. Excuse you. Excuse you. You're crazy. That's no. I think I remember it was either you or someone else that already said that, and then shared their collection, and I was quite surprised. One of yous had quite the watch collection, and I was not expecting the one he is to have such a watch collection. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's legit. Yeah, I'll have to just do a quick review of the disassembly guide for the first gen and make sure that there aren't any big gotchas with it. Did the same repair on a Rose Gold 18K. They tore the Taptic engine ribbon cable off the motherboard, undoing the shield that covers the screen's cables. So just don't do that and you'll be fine. I think I know what you're talking about because I got really close to doing it on that ceramic one. I preemptively ordered a new Force Touch gasket for that one too because I figured it was not going to come off in one piece. kind of doesn't matter on the S5. Yeah, that's what I read, but it's still the principle and just kind of knowing that it was probably going to get torn up. That'd be like taking my car to a shop to have them fix one thing, and then in the process they break something else totally unrelated, and they're like, oh well, the newer versions of this car don't even come with that anyways, and they basically disable it if you take the car back for any warranty work or updates anyways, so you're fine, you're good, don't worry about it. I guess depending on who you are, it bothers you or it doesn't, and I'm the person where it bothers. Ah, now you're making a mess with all those crackers. Enjoy it while you can, kid. Force touch was useless? You take that back. You take that back. Force touch was the best feature, the best hardware feature to ever grace any Apple device, ever.
And then they took it from us.
And they replaced it with tap and hold? Are you serious? That's no replacement. The level of control and intentional input that you got from Force Touch was unmatched. It made tap and hold utterly useless. Like the amount of extra functionality that you got out of Force Touch was, oh man. It did so much before we even needed it. And then it didn't matter so much when you had a physical home button. But then they took the home button away and maximized the screen space. Alright, welcome back. I think I got the right adapter plugged in now.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
So we have finally got
I'm having trouble connecting to it.
a working logic board in this HomePod. I suppose making it one working HomePod now. Tap and hold does not serve the same thing. Force touch gave you the ability to peek into things without fully interacting with it. For example, like it was really cool to be able to peek into my messages without marking them as read. But now you have to look at it and it marks it as read, and you have to go in and unmark it as read if you want to come back to it, if you want to mark it as unread. There were just many small things here and there that frankly a lot of people just didn't know about, and that's why they took it away. Most people didn't know of Force Touch or know everything that it could do, and Apple saw those statistics and took the feature away. They said, why are we adding all this extra complication and expense to our manufacturing when most people aren't using this thing? Alright. It is 3914's turn. Let's see what the story was with this one. If I read it, I read it. See, the reason why I like to mark it as unread is so that that's I don't have time to reply to every message that comes in, but I do need to screen most of the messages that come in, so I need to know whether or not it requires an immediate reply or if it can wait. And having the message unread is how I keep track of whether I've replied to someone or not. So it's the little tiny things. And it's not necessarily so I still have the notification like in my notification bar, right? It's just the badge, the notification badge, and the list, like the badge being in my messages. No, sorry, I'm falling. You're okay. You didn't do anything wrong. Here you go. Here you go. Alright, well, I almost just face planted into the kid's crib. Turn off read receipts. That's not the same thing. That turning off read receipts just turns off telling the person that sent the message whether I read it or not. Shaking my head. You all need to learn how to use iPhones. Telling me force touch was useless. Telling me just turn off read receipts. Goodness. Oh, I just noticed Shuffle Hands is back. Welcome back. What's the point of read receipts if I don't use them? What do you mean? How else am I going to keep track of who I've replied to and who I haven't replied to at a glance? Like, first of all, the other person doesn't need to know when I've read their message or not. It's a cool feature, but text messaging is not Facebook Messenger. If people want to know when I read their message, they can force me to sign up for Facebook and make me use Facebook Messenger. But as far as what's the point of read receipts if I don't use them? I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about when someone sends me a message, I want to be able to see what the message says and then mark the message as unread so that way I remember to reply to it later. You're talking about read receipts, which is where Apple shows you in your messages for a particular message with a particular person if and or when that person has read the message. When someone else has read a message has no bearing on me or any relevance to me or my problem or what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about in my problem is purely keeping track of who messaged me and who have I responded or not responded to yet. And knowing whether they've read my messages or them knowing whether I've read their messages or not doesn't help anything. right? Is that? I think that's. I think that makes sense. Alright, back into hell. Let's see if we can't fix a logic board here. It's been weeks since I've been able to get any of these logic boards working again. I would love to be able to get one working logic board again. Force touch is one gesture. I can lightly tap and press on it and peek at the message, and when I'm done, I let go. If I hold down on the bubble, it marks the message as read. I'm 99% positive it marks the message as read. And then I have to tap the screen again to leave it. It's two gestures, and if I'm not mistaken, it marks it as read. I'll have to double check that. But in any case, two gestures versus one. When you're talking about going through dozens of messages, it matters. Ooh, that's some crusty BGA. You just did it and it worked, no read? I'm still not conceding. Two gestures versus one. Twice as much time. I'm gonna have to try this myself. I don't believe you. Alright, so I got that message. I only tapped and held it. It marked it as read. You're a big fat liar. You're a big liar. You're a liar. I got an automated message from my bank on my lock screen. I tapped and held it, and it showed me the full message. I tapped off of it, and it closed the message, and it disappeared from my lock screen. I double-checked my messages app. It was marked as read. I'm scratching up the nasty looking pads here. Man, there's like 4 of them that are bad on here. You, sir, need to brush your teeth more. And you haven't been flossing. You'll show and put it in Discord. I'll show and put in Discord the same thing. It doesn't work. There's a discrepancy here. Something doesn't make sense. Have I watched Sonic 3 yet? Is it available for home streaming yet? I don't go to movie theaters. I only watch stuff that I can watch from the comfort of my own home and through the enjoyment of my own speakers, with my own popcorn and my own remote to pause it if I want to go to the bathroom and not miss a moment. Okay. Shell swap on a Vision Pro. I haven't worked on a Vision Pro yet, so it'd probably be just like the usual HomePod repair, the HomePod repair rate, and then depending on how difficult that goes, I would adjust my pricing from there. But the first person to send me a device that I haven't worked on before, you can usually get me to get it done for you for the cost of a HomePod repair until I can figure out how much work it really needs. I'm not giving you an apology, Nixon, because A, I haven't looked at whatever it is you sent, and B, even if what you said is true, it's not what I'm observing on my phone. So it's not, it won't work for what I need. And I have no idea what could explain the difference in behavior. Unless one of us is experiencing a bug. But it's worked the way that the way that it works for me, and I'm seeing and saying. It's worked like that for as long as I can remember. But with Force Touch, it did not. Alright, we're using the MacBook microphone. And, I guess we should conclude this, somewhat soon, huh? It's working. It's working.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Get it.